Hi, look, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, we took a look at we started diving into the product service, and we took a look at the dependencies. We've taken a look at the main YAML file of the product service in the product service. Now we've come to the config server, where we store all the main YAML files for each services. This is where we manage them. So in the config server service, we have resources folder, and in the resources folder we have a folder called configuration, and inside that folder we've set up each and every each and every services. So stay tuned and let's dive in. Thank you. Right, good. We've now come to the config server, and we are looking for the product service, which is exactly the same name here. So we got product dash service.yml file. Let's go into it. The product dash service.yml file is quite big, and I will say pause and write all these down because you will come back to it as we go along. You will know. You probably don't need to bother yourself too much with this, but do it now and make sure it's correct. If you are doing an application like this, or you want to set something similar in your application, and we just leave it until we get there. And that is for the Kafka settings. Basically that one is for, but we leave it. We come back to that one. So the settings here is Spring Boot data source URL, and then the URL JDBC : PostgreSQL / localhost : 5432. That is the main port, the default port that comes with it. And this is the database basically. Then we have the username. We are using Postgres here, and the password is right here. I haven't concealed it because I don't need to. And the platform is PostgreSQL, and then this is the JPA interactions here. So we got the Hibernate, DDL, we say dash auto : and then we say create drop, because you want to create and drop the databases. So every time I restart the server, the database will be dropped. Show SQL. So whenever we do some SQL interactions, it will be shown in the command line for that particular service. For this particular service, properties, Hibernate. You don't need these two. I've taken it off, as you can see, because it did suggest somewhere that there was no need, and I took it off. We will take a look at Kafka later. Right, and then this is the server port 8484. Now this is also something we can take a look later. Okay, until then, that is the settings for the product. So that's all you need for the YAML files of the product. You can see how big this one is, right? So take a deep breath and we'll carry on. So I think the best thing to do is start off here with we will start off with the modules, because that's where the basic is. So for this service, is used to manage category, that's product category, with the winning bid, the bid, and product itself. Those are the main modules that we are managing here within the service, because bid and winning bid relates to product, so I didn't want to create another service away from it. Of course, category relates to product, so it will be too complicated to separate them and make them into a service alone, because you have to create a client and to bridge yourself between products, and it's just too burdensome. So it makes sense to just include them into this, because they themselves are nothing. A bid is nothing without a product, because you bid on a product. A category is nothing without a product, because a category, we put products into categories, right? Product is product, of course, so that stays here. Winning bid, you win the bid of a product, right? So it stays here. So for the product entity, we have at all argument constructor, we are importing that. We are importing no argument constructor. We got a get SNCS entity, and then we got table, a table. Then we've suggested what the table should be like, and we are using at ID, and we're generating the ID. I prefer this one because then I don't have to manage what ID the product is. We are suggesting that the product ID is long, and then various other stuff which I might take out. For example, I've got is sold here, I might take it out, but let's see how it goes, right? And then you got product name, brand name, description, color, product size, quantity, starting price, buy now price, bought on buy now. So these are stuff that I've come up with, so don't worry for now. Bid starting time, there's a reason why this is there. We get to it. It's available for this is basically relating to when we bid, and if we have the starting time for the bid, then we have the end time for the bid. We want to know that when we buy, when something is being bought, then you want to know, we need to make sure that we close that product down so that it's not offered on bid. We come back to that. It's available for buy now. See, some of these seems a bit more like redundant, so I'm just gonna leave until I know I don't need it, right? And then the user that they're registering the product, I've got a many to one relationship between the category and product. Let's take a look at the category now. With the category, we are importing all those necessary stuff that we need, including the get essence as an entity, and then it's a very simple one. We are generating the ID, and we got the name and description, and then we have a one to many. So a lot, many products can have the same category, and a category can belong to many products basically. So so basically so a category can have many products. So you can have a TV which belongs to the same product as so and so, the same product category as so and so, right? And stuff like that. And at the moment, this is how I want it. We have bid entity, and bid entity also is importing the whole stuff that we need. And we at the moment is long. We are generating the ID as well, and then we are linking that bid to that product. So the product that we are bidding on, the user who's bidding, the amount that they are bidding, and the bid time. We have winning ID, and you see there's a reason why we have bid start time here and bid time here, and I think it's a redundancy, but I will look into it, how I want it to be, and where to get rid of it, if it's a redundancy. Winning bid is basically when a bid has been won by the highest. So this is what we are going to use this bid for. It's got a relation to the bid ID. Winning bid. Or am I in the bid? Right. So winning bid is in relation to when a bid is won. So which bid is won? So we got the relationship here of the bid, and we have product ID and stuff like that. So we will look into how to manage it. So it's just basically to manage the bid and stuff like that. There's a bit of bit end time is also a problem here, but we will get it from the bit. So these are the entities, right, that we have for products, right? So the next thing that I think is important, and the rest of these you will know as you develop your application, like this one for example, this one, sometimes you get an error and it says you need a bin of so and so, and when I dig around I had to add this bin to it. At some point I will take this off, and when I do, you will see the error, and then you know exactly what to do, why is there, so that you can also have it there. Okay, now I think the next most important thing to take a look at, in the product service is the controller, because the DTO or works for the service. The error responses is just for using in the error responses, and just for errors, to control the errors. And exceptionals are all the exceptionals that I have added. This is best practice. Basically, you add exceptions relating to, so that it's easier to debug your errors. Yeah, so like if you use the default was it Java exceptions, then it's like when you've got to debug, it will be difficult. But having your own exception helps a lot, because you can write a meaningful message to it, and then you can say, all right, it came from the services, or it came from the controller, or it came from somewhere, so it's easier. It just makes your work a lot more easier. We are extending the runtime exception, so you are adding your own, so you can use this runtime exception, the default one, as I was saying, but this one makes it a lot more meaningful. We will know in a little while what other stuff can we take. I'll leave Kafka to the end. So at this point I've got to end the video here, so we will continue looking into the product service in the next video. See you then.